Scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, and I am working on my day in the life. Now you can see that initially I was going to do this in real time and talk over this video, but my kids kept running in and out of the room, so that's why you see my weird hand motions. It's because I'm talking, but you can see that my project, my day in the life project, is just one day, one spread. And I decided to keep it really simple for this year because any huge project tends not to get done for me. So I decided to keep it one spread, especially since it was just like a day that we were at home and we weren't doing anything, and it was a day that my kids had off school. So I knew that the pictures wouldn't be too terribly thrilling. So I just decided to keep it to one spread. So I'm using the Ali Edwards Pieces kit for my day in the life. It worked perfectly. And then I've also stamped out the time of day on each of these little half circles, so whatever time it was, with the big number stamps from the Cocoa Daisy Fresh cut kits. It was a perfect, these are 2-inch circles that I've cut in half, and then I stamped on them, and they were just the perfect size. The stamps were just the perfect size to sort of be kind of wonky and fall off the edges a little bit, and I sort of adore that look. I decided to do that instead of stamp directly on the photos, just for risk aversion. Basically, I didn't want to have to reprint any photos or anything like that, so I decided to just print on half circles, and in the end I really love the look of it, so that worked out well. So right here you can see I am just sort of laying out all of the embellishments that I want to use. I want to keep this, again, really simple, so I've barely pulled in anything outside of the Pieces kit. I have that heart right there that says me time, that was from the Rest kit, but other than that I'm going through and I'm just using all the chipboard and these fun thought bubbles. Some of them are patterns, some of them have words, some of them have places for journaling, and then I'm also using these felt hearts from the Pieces kit. I really adore this kit. It feels a lot, it feels really usable compared to sometimes the Stories by the Month kit, or no, the Craft the Story kit, I'm not sure, whatever her regular monthly kits are called. They don't feel as usable to me, like you need to pull in more things, but this one felt really usable. There was a nice variety of embellishments and I had a lot of fun with it. So I've kind of gone through and placed where I want everything to go. I'm going to use just these 2 journaling cards, which was actually a 4x6 journaling card that I cut in half. And then I have this title card up here next to this photo of me that I'll be working on at the end, so I can just somehow state that it's day in the life. So the day that day in the life happened was a Tuesday last week, I believe, and my kids were out of school because of flooding, which was really interesting because otherwise the day, I probably wouldn't have done day in the life because I literally just sit at my desk and draw all day, and I'm not sure that that would have been worthy of a full spread of me sitting and drawing. But since the kids were home, I had a lot more variety of photos. Unfortunately, my husband worked really late that day, so by the time he got home, I was in bed already, so I didn't get any pictures of him, but I do have pictures of everyone else, and since my kids are getting older, I get a lot less photos of the teenagers than I used to, so shoving a camera in their face randomly felt a little bit odd, which is so funny because I've had a camera in their face their whole life. So the fact that putting a camera in their face now feels odd, it's very interesting to me. Even you can see the 2 photos of Karsten, he's not even looking at the camera because I almost felt like I had to sneak photos of him, even though he was perfectly aware that I was taking the photos, but that's kind of where I was and what I felt like. So I'm just going through pocket by pocket and building up my clusters. This photo of Finn and Karsten, they were actually doing chores, but somehow when they clean the playroom, they always manage to get distracted by the Nerf guns, just the two of them, and often they will end up after cleaning, hopefully after, they will end up running around the house and playing with Nerf guns, and it's so nice to see my nearly 15-year-old playing with the 8-year-old in that way. I think Nerf guns is something that Karsten might never grow out of. This is Finn, where he spends most of his time on his day offs, which is in my bed. He was on his computer, probably playing Five Nights at Freddy's or something like that. But I thought it was a fun angle. And I'm trying to just like, I printed out my photos so that they were full 4x6s and full 3x4s, which is not something that I do very often. And I'm trying to work in a little bit different of a style just to switch things up a little bit. So that is why I printed full page photos. That, and it's easier. It's just easier to build a pocket page when you don't have to worry about matting all of the photos and basically building every single photo into its own little tiny layout. So I really enjoyed this process. This whole thing took me about a half an hour, which I always love. Especially since the projects that I normally commit to outside of my normal scrapbooking are things like December Daily, and those are obviously really labor-intensive works of heart. So I love it when an extra project sort of fits into a regular routine and is easy. I was thinking, I know that Amy Gretchen does 12 on the 12th, and I obviously have missed it for January and February, but I was thinking about maybe doing something like this monthly, something maybe like a 12 on the 12th or a 6 on the 6th, something like that, so that just, I don't know, 12 photos seems like a lot when most of the time the 12th lands on, you know, a day of the week where I'm home alone. So I'm not sure, but I really like just taking the day and taking photos of just real everyday life in a more intentional way than maybe I used to do with Project Life. Not sure. I'm really liking this though. So I am working on, I decided to add this heart to the side of the photo, and then when I cut off the heart, I decided that it would be perfect if I bridged the two photos at the bottom with the edge of that heart. So it's still one big full heart, and it sort of brings that heart motif onto this photo as well of me and Finn. I don't know, I just felt like it added a little extra something, so I decided to put it there. And now I am just going to layer these together and add in that heart over the photo. And then I'm not done, but I'm getting pretty close here because obviously everything is all placed and ready to go. So one thing I didn't mention was that obviously the journaling cards have places for numbered stories. So what I did was I chose 6 photos out of all of these photos to write the story about. So obviously not all of the photos got journaling. Some of them are pretty self-explanatory. So I put a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on all of the numbered photos, and the numbers were from the Pieces Story Kit as well. That way you can reference, okay, this is photo number 6, so I'm going to look at story number 6 in relation to it. And I really like the way that that came out. It kept it really simplified, not having to add journaling to each one of those photos. So I'm building my title card here, and I've cut a circle out of paper, and I'm going to use letter stickers, little letter stickers, to write the title out, and these are from Coco Daisy. And it says A Day in Our Life. I'm just going to staple it here. This tiny attacher that a viewer sent me, thank you again. Big shout out. I don't know why I resisted having a tiny attacher for so long, but I'm stapling all the things now. So I'm just trying to make this card a little bit more interesting. So I'm thinking about layering some of these talk bubbles, maybe some chipboard. I'm not sure yet. I go back and forth from a few different options. I don't think I end up adding any of the chipboard because I was thinking that how many words is too many words on this title card, I think. I'm pretty sure I end up adding something with words on it, but it feels less distracting than if I had added a chipboard piece. I think it's this one. It says Pieces of Life, which I thought it's nice and neutral, and so I thought it was less distracting than the other ones. But I'm feeling like I really want a black one on here, but the black and the gray aren't working together as well as I would like the gray of the letter stickers. I think I end up adding it anyway after I figure out where I want this to go. It was just too much white on white is what I was feeling. That's what I was having problems with. But after I'm done fighting with this card, I am done with the spread. So I end up adding the black in that thought bubble right there with words on it. So I do end up adding words, but they just feel more neutral than the chipboard felt. So I'm just going to do one more pass here and see if there's any more chipboard I want to add. I decided to add this ampersand to this photo because duh, ampersands are always added to photos of someone and me, or someone and someone else. I'm going to add this little talk bubble here. And I do believe that that is about it. I need to add in my journaling, which I do off camera after I'm done. You will see it in the photos. Yes, I wanted to use this last heart. That was what I was thinking. This last heart, I had one more left and I was like, I just need to use it up. And so I decided to add it to this photo and then call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. And I will see you next time. Thank you.